Rob Dyrdek talks about fantasy and Christopher Big Black Boykin's death. Let's get into it.
I did want to talk about the passing of Big.
Yeah.
Because like I said, man, that show like was my childhood. That and The Bachelor, as indicated on.
If
the
you
Boys
go
Only
on about
pod.
this, I'll throw
I'm
everything.
just saying,
Yeah.
Of course, his show would be The Bachelor. Like, what?
I watched The Bachelor with my papa and Robin Big with my brother. What we did, and what an amazing, what an amazing show. You
Best.
sort of even pioneered the reality odd couple format. Again, you've done a lot of stuff.
Well, keep
first.
in mind, like there was no such thing as like comedy reality. The
Yeah.
only hybrid back then was sort of what the Osbournes was because they were funny together, but it wasn't like when we pitched them. Like we went into MTV and pitched. It was called Best Friends. Like I came in with the song "People Let Me Tell You About My Best Friend," and they were like, but when they wouldn't buy that show. They bought Rob Dyrdek's Rules to Success, and rule number 1 is always surround yourself with good people. And he was the person that I surrounded myself with. You know what I mean? Like, and then when we shot the pilot, it was terrible. Like they made us write an entire script, and like second day of shooting, was we're in the kitchen and we were supposed to do this whole script, and all the executives were in the living room watching us. We were supposed to be like saying lines essentially.
Yeah.
And then he's like, man, if we
Yeah, there's no way. Think about that from a YouTuber standpoint. There's no way that I could like focus on trying to make a video or focus on my talking points or what I need to say if I'm just like sitting there being watched. Even recording these, I can't record these with no one around. And I hate scripts. I genuinely do. I'm not like the best at writing, so I try to just spitball and freestyle every video that I do for real.
were in prison, I get you. It's like, okay, first of all, you couldn't even catch me. Oh, I could run you down. You couldn't run me down. And it was like that moment was like, then it was like, no, like, let's have a foot race now. It was like, forget about the script. Like, let's see if you could catch me. Like, and like that, like, then they began to see like, oh no, like this is.
Let it run.
Like, this is who they are. It is a buddy comedy, but it had never existed before. So they didn't understand how that was even possible. Then they allowed us to like create and really Shane Nickerson, who was a story editor.
And see, that's the thing that's crazy about today is you have to put yourself in this time, like he's saying. Vila La Bam didn't exist yet. Robin Big didn't exist yet. I don't even know if Jersey Shore existed yet I think Robin Big was before Jersey Shore. You know what I'm saying? This is the infancy of going into MTV reality television. This is like literal, like the beginning stages of it.
Was brought in to really reinforce, like, here's how you build story around these guys, which allowed it to become Robin Big instead of being, one season and done, a pilot and done of Rob Dyrdek's Rules to Success.
Mini horses.
Mini horses.
Well,
oh
no,
my
look,
God, I
look,
wanted a mini horse so long because of you.
You have to understand, I went on a mission to figure out how to get a small horse. This is real life.
Dude, you
Behind the scenes.
mainstreamed mini horses. I'm not kidding.
Oh my God. Listen to me. Like, and so when I go to the network and say, first episode, I'm getting a mini horse, they came back and said, we don't like it. We don't want to do it. And I said, okay, all right. So here's the deal. When the season opens up, there's going to be a mini horse here. So you guys can either film it or, and I had made such a big deal about it of like, I'm getting like, don't tell me what I can do. It's my house. I'm putting.
And it's literally him getting that. The crazy part is they were so against it. It's one of the most memorable, regardless if it's the pilot or not, it's one of the most memorable episodes of the entire show. Like, them getting that horse, it was hilarious. It was genuinely pure comedy. It was one of the funniest things. I'm telling you, anyone that has seen Robin Big or anyone that's just seen a little bit of TV, they can probably tell you about this episode. This episode is genuinely one of the most iconic. I mean, there's clips of it on like everywhere. Everywhere has seen this. It was so funny, and it was all his idea completely, which makes it that much better.
And then when we shot it and showed up to pick up that horse, it was the realest moment of Big Black being like, man, sure you want this big ass horse, right? Because it was like a pony.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
It wasn't like, in my mind, it was like a dog, like this big,
Yeah.
but damn, this thing's we can't even pick this thing up. And like but I had committed, and it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it created this, obviously incredible device, but never had a relationship with the horse. We were never cool.
They're notoriously mean though.
They're
Not your
super
fault.
mean, and like luckily we found like a place for him to live, and I had to spend all that money to build a switchback trail down my property to get him down,
wow.
and then we would literally shoot a scene, and I'd be like, peace. And like then the handler would come in and take him down the switchback and take him to somewhere in Burbank. And then when we'd shoot a scene, and bring him back, yeah. So the relationship soured pretty quickly.
Oh man.
When I realized that this is livestock.
Imagine all those MTV producers are like, we told you.
Yeah, no.
You were like-
No, at this point, they're like, it's gold. He's
Yeah,
a genius.
yeah.
He's a genius. The mini horse is such a good idea. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it wasn't the relationship.
Yeah, like that's the shitty part too, is where it's like after the initial success, of course, now the producers and everyone is gonna want to push this fucking horse. They're gonna want to like drain it dry. But yeah, once you try to establish a relationship with an animal and it's just not there, or they're not going for it, yeah, you're not really gonna want to be around that animal anymore. So I get where Rob's coming from on that.
Wasn't what you'd think it was,
You weren't horsing around.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
that-
then look, I think for him, it's like the sad part is like even he was, it was chasing him, right? Heart condition was chasing him. Like everyone in his family died young. He was doing everything he could nonstop, from like going to the doctor like super consistently, and he was still in his 30s at that time, and going super consistently, and then preemptively getting a defibrillator if like his heart shut down, it would shock his heart back on, like all of this, doing every single precaution. Like even in the year that he passed, like he lost like 100 pounds and like got through, did so many, just doing everything that you possibly could in order to not have it catch you, and still caught him. You know what I mean? Like it was just chasing him down his whole life,
Not to trigger you, or hopefully this doesn't come off sensitive, but if Big were alive today, how do you think he'd be integrated in your life still?
I don't know. Like when I think about, because once Fantasy Factory ended, because you got to think like we, keep in mind, I wrote the idea for a skit and a skate video. You know what I mean? And like we didn't like cast it. We called like the San Diego local security company and was like, we're looking for like a big guy that's kind of funny. And it was just, he showed up and we shot the skit for the skate video, and me and him just started flowing. And then the skate video blew up. Then we did a car race across Europe together, and they filmed a documentary about it. And that's when Jeff Tremaine saw that and was like, you guys should do a show. You know what I mean? Like, well, really, Ruben Fleischer, who was the director of that documentary, showed it to Tremaine, and both of them were like, you should do a show, now. But it was taxing. And then we had a blowout like in season 3, because it was like, for him, it was this idea of like, oh, you're like this guy's security guard, when really like there was a lot of tension between me and him, and then
Inevitable.
yeah,
by
and
the
then
way.
creative tension, and then once we blew out, then I was like, I sold them ridiculousness at that time, because I didn't want to shoot a show in my house, but they offered me all this money at the time, 125 G's an episode, to do another reality show. And that's when
And everybody wants to hate talking about ridiculousness is played out. Dude, if you're making that much an episode, yeah, I think you're gonna stand there and do your shit.
wrote Fantasy Factory. And then,
Good
we
Lord.
didn't talk for a long time, probably like a year and a half. And then, like, man, it was like, we were in like season like 3 or 4 of Fantasy Factory, and like, he reached out. I don't know why we connected back. And then it was just like, we didn't talk for like 2 years. And then the moment like we talked, you want to shoot this show? And then he was just immediately back on, and then in Fantasy Factory to the very end. Well, not even a question. We didn't even. He's like, man, I was just being crazy. Whatever. Let's get back to work. Like it was that clean and easy. And when I think about like how he was integrated into my life up to that point, post Fantasy Factory, and now, I'm just really.
What what was like y'all's favorite childhood like MTV show? Like, because I think a lot of my subscribers are probably born around the same time I am in the 2000s. So what would you guys say was y'all's early 2000s like favorite show, like going into the 2010s, going into the 2015s? What was you watching?
Really happy that he was able to meet, and I have this amazing photo with my son right after my son was born, you know, like right before in that sort of aspect. But you know, you think about this world that we live in now, like his comedy and perspective lends itself to this format. You know what I mean? Like, you know, even though like it's just that off the cuff, like being that sort of voice is like, I could see him in like a podcast zone for sure, in this zone, you know.
If you guys enjoyed that video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps let me know that I'm doing a good job and that these videos aren't finding AI bots. And as always, love all, love yourself, and remember, don't smoke nicotine, smoke green. We out.